in our country today. We are being told, you must say Bharat Mata Ki Jai. I'm happy to say Bharat Mata Ki Jai. I've found myself, in fact, in a bus, in an airport in Europe last year, 2 years ago, before this controversy arose, with a bunch of UP pilgrims. And they all recognized me and they said, Saab, aap kuch kahiye. So maine kaha, Bharat Mata Ki Jai, and they all went and they all shouted the nara. So I have no problem with that. But if any friend of mine has a problem with it, if he says, look, my religion doesn't allow me to maternalize the country and worship her as a goddess, I will say Jai Hind, I will say Jai Bharat, but I will not say Bharat Mata Ki Jai. I believe my constitution gives him the right not to say it. But we are ruled by people who can only see things in their way. It's only my way or the highway. So if my way says, no, you have to say this because Mr. Amit Shah says you must say it, I'm sorry, that's no good reason to actually say something you don't otherwise want to or intend to say. The truth is, all of this, those who want to divide the country, we know a member of the Council of Ministers, said that all the people in this country are of two kinds, either Ramzadeh or, and you know the word, I will not use it in public, but she used it happily in public, and she's still a minister. Another minister said, those who disagree with us and disagree with Mr. Modi should go to Pakistan. अरे भाई पाकिस्तान, आपके दुश्मन को आप दूर भेजना चाहते हो, तो कनाडा के बारे में क्यों नहीं सोचते हो? Because Pakistan is meant to send a message. If you are critical of us, you must be a Muslim, you must be a lover of Muslims, go to Pakistan, that's for the Muslims. That is the message. Is that an acceptable message in 21st century India, 70 years after independence? Not to me, not to us. We cannot have a situation in which such things happen, no one is punished, no one is held to account, there is not even an apology, they continue in the Council of Ministers as if this kind of discourse is acceptable discourse. Even the political rhetoric of Mr. Modi. It was all very well for him to attack my party president earlier when he was vice president, calling him a princeling. But if he wanted to attack him on those grounds, could he not have used the word Rajkumar? Why does he call him a Shehzada? You get the message again. The same messages go to Pakistan. This is the kind of insidious poison that some people are seeking to spread in our society. The petty intolerance and bigotry that pass for a ruling ideology in today's times has sadly begun to infect the way in which our country functions. And I must say that it is here that the people of Uttar Pradesh and the rest of the country, but particularly you all in Uttar Pradesh, can do better. Because you have lived and breathed for centuries the idea of India that Rabindranath Tagore wrote about, which is not only about coexisting, but also about thriving in our diversity, which is our strength. You know, I've just published a book called Why I'm a Hindu. The Hindi edition is coming out soon. अगर आप हिंदी में पढ़ना चाहता है, कुछ हफ्तों की इंतजार है. लेकिन in that, one of the things I quoted, which was to me most memorable about Hinduism, was from Swami Vivekananda's great speech in Chicago in 1893 to the World Parliament of Religions, where he said that my religion, Hinduism, has taught the world not just tolerance, but acceptance. I read those words as a teenager and they stayed in my mind. I've been thinking about it all the time for decades. What a profound insight. Because, you know, we all go to school and we are taught that tolerance is a good thing, it's a virtue. A tolerant king is a good king, etc. And it's true, tolerance is a virtue. But tolerance is still a very patronizing idea when you think about it. Tolerance says what? I have the truth. You are in error, but I will magnanimously indulge you in your right to be wrong. That is tolerance. But acceptance is very different. Acceptance says, I believe I have the truth. You believe you have the truth. I will respect your truth. Please respect my truth. That is the essence of Swami Vivekananda's teachings about Hinduism. That is the Hindu faith that he preached to the world. That is the Hindu faith that I grew up in, and that many of you here, I'm sure, have grown up in. And this acceptance of difference has been key, not just to the survival and success of the Hindu religion in this country, but to the survival and success of Indian democracy, because it rests on the basic idea that we must actually respect each other and respect each other for what we are. Accept you for who you are and respect you and expect the same in return. खुदा हाफिज जो मैं बोलूं वो मुझको राम राम कहता है, मैं उसका एहतराम करता था, वो मेरा एहतराम करता है. That is the spirit in which India has to live and work together. In fact, there was another lovely couplet of Ghalib's. Forgive me for being so much on the Ghalib track today. इस तरह हमने जिंदगी को आसान कर दिया, he said. इस तरह हमने जिंदगी को आसान कर दिया, किसी से माफी मांग ली, किसी को माफ कर दिया. That is how we take this country forward. It is the only way to take this country forward. In turn, unity in diversity became the most hallowed of independent India's self-defining slogans. Another UP Shair, Anwar Jalalpuri, said very, very wisely, अनेकता में जहां एकता मिली अनवर, अनेकता में जहां एकता मिली अनवर, हम इस दयार को हिंदुस्तान कहने लगे. This has been the India we all cherish. कोस कोस पर वाणी बदले, चार कोस पर पानी, अनेकता में एकता, हिंद की विशेषता. But the truth is that India has always been, and UP has always been, much more than the sum of its contradictions. I talked about Wajid Ali Shah playing Krishna, and his begums were playing the gopis. But what is interesting, he directed the play. He was, after all, the Nawab of the ruler of the place. He directed the play. And this whole idea, which we have brought forward into 1947, when some said Pakistan has been created as a country for India's Muslims, therefore what remains must be a country for India's Hindus, the nationalist movement rejected that idea. They said, we will not buy into the logic that has created Pakistan. We do not want to be a Hindu Pakistan. We have always claimed to fight for everyone's rights, and we will therefore be a country for everybody. The Indian idea is that a nation may endure differences of caste, of creed, of color, of culture, of cuisine, of conviction, of consonant or language, of custom and costume, and still rally around a consensus. And that consensus is on the simple democratic idea that in a large, diverse democracy like ours, you don't really need to agree all the time, so long as you agree on the ground rules of how you will disagree. That's what kept India together and flourishing, but for the first time we have a government that's challenging the very ground rules on which Indian democracy has been built, challenging above all that acceptance of difference by wanting to press us all into a uniformity. Uniformity does not give you unity. We seek unity, not uniformity. We seek consensus, not conformity. We seek diversity. They seek, sadly, suppression. This is why we really have to look very seriously at what the values are here. मैं ये सब आपको कह रहा हूँ उत्तर प्रदेश में, क्योंकि हम सब जानते हैं झांसी की रानी की तलवार का टंकार से यूपी की धरती आज भी खनकती है. प्रेमचंद की कहानियों की खुशबू से ये धरा आज भी महकती है. यहाँ की फिजाओं में जायसी के नूर की रवानी बसती हैं, तो कबीर के वाणी की झंकार से ये धरा सजती है. एक और प्रयागराज में आस्था पर समंदर उफनता है, तो दूसरी ओर देवा शरीफ में सौहार्द का सैलाब हिलोरें लेता है. भारद्वाज, गौतम, यज्ञवल्क्य, वशिष्ठ, विश्वामित्र जैसे ऋषि मुनियों के तप से आच्छादित इस देवभूमि पर भगवान राम और भगवान कृष्ण ने इस सरजमीन को धन्य किया है। और उनके साथ देवा शरीफ, गाजी मियाँ की मस्जिद, ग्यावा भी यूपी में है। गंगा जमनी तहजीब जिसके बारे में हम इतने सुने हैं, यहाँ की पहचान है। ताजमहल यहाँ का अभिमान है। सारी दुनिया से लोग आते हैं आपका ताजमहल देखने के लिए, और आपका मुख्यमंत्री कहते हैं कि ये कोई विदेशी बिल्डिंग है जिसको तोड़ना चाहिए, और आपका टूरिस्ट ब्रोशर में भी इसको इंक्लूड नहीं करते हैं। क्या करें हमारे देश को? Ours has actually been the idea of an ever land, an ancient civilization, united by a shared history, with influences from everywhere and sustained by a pluralist democracy. The ever land of India. Theirs is a never land. A pristine Hindu Rashtra that has existed only in their imagination. They claim has been invaded and influenced by others. And they wish to create this Hindu Rashtra again through violence at the expense of ordinary Indians who do not share their warped fantasies. I want to remind them of another UP Shair, Firak Gorakhpuri, who said, "Ho jine shak, wo kare aur khudaon ki talash. Ho jine shak, wo kare aur khudaon ki talash. Hum to insaan ko duniya ka khuda kehte hain." That is, after all, the essence of the UP culture, of the India culture, of the Ganga Jamni Tehzeeb we keep hearing about. And even a good Punjabi like Muhammad Iqbal wrote, "Mazhab nahi sikhata aapas mein bair rakhna. Hindi hai hum, watan hai Hindustan hamara." That is Iqbal, who is considered to be the founding poet of Pakistan. And he also wrote, "Shakti bhi, shanti bhi, bhakton ke geet mein hai. शक्ति भी शांति भी भक्तों के गीत में है, धरती के वासियों की मुक्ति प्रीत में है." And somebody else, I am not able to find the author, wrote, "ना मस्जिद की फिक्र करो, ना मंदिर और गुरुद्वारे की, ना मस्जिद की फिक्र करो, ना मंदिर और गुरुद्वारे की, हिंदुस्तान सभी का है, यहाँ फिक्र हो भाईचारे की." That is the idea of India that some of us have sought to defend and promote. An idea of India that celebrates diversity. I lived many years in America, as has Salman. And I've enjoyed saying to Americans, look, if your country is a melting pot, ours is not a melting pot. India is a thali. Because we are a collection of different dishes in different bowls, all on one plate. Because the dishes taste different, and they're in different bowls, they may not necessarily flow into the next bowl. But they belong together on the same plate, and they combine on your palate to give you a satisfying repast. That is the thali of India. Cultural diversity, inclusion are therefore at the very heart of India's social fabric. The idea is that India is a nation based on a civic identity, not an ethnic identity, not a religious identity, not a linguistic identity, because we have diversities of all of those. We have every kind of variety imaginable, right? We have 23 languages recognized in the Constitution. How many scripts on our rupee note? 14 or 15 scripts are printed on the rupee note. A land where that was before demonetization, sorry. Now perhaps there's only one number printed on that note. A land where 4 major world religions were founded. 4 others, major ones, came from elsewhere to our country. We are a country of 85 recognized political parties, 58 of which are in parliament today. Some are 1-member party, 2-member parties, but they're there. And of course, a country which has invented God knows how many systems of classical dance, how many ways of bowling the dusra, and 300 ways of cooking the potato. So any attempt to take this diversity and put it into a straitjacket, into some sort of majoritarian nationalism, by rewriting history and aiming, as a BJP minister has openly admitted, aiming to rewrite the Constitution, this is a pitiable effort that exposes the BJP's own insecurities. Let me explain to you that it doesn't take very much to rewrite the Constitution. It takes a two-thirds majority in the Lok Sabha, which they have. It takes half the states, and they actually have two-thirds. They control 22 of the 29 states. And it takes two-thirds of the Rajya Sabha, which in 4 years they will have, because the Rajya Sabha is elected by the state assemblies that they now control. So in fact, the 2019 Lok Sabha election is the only obstacle to their going ahead and rewriting the Constitution of India if they want to for a Hindu Rashtra. If you have read, as I have read, the writings of Veer Savarkar, of V.D. Savarkar, some of us would say, and not give him that title, or of M.S. Golwalkar, who was Sarsang Chalak of the RSS from 1940 to 1973 for 33 years, or the writings of Deen Dayal Upadhyay, whom our Prime Minister hails as his principal ideologue, and he has said every ministry in Delhi must conduct seminars to study the thought of Deen Dayal Upadhyay, then you will know that they all rejected the Constitution of India. The Constitution of Ambedkar, they don't like. They say they have two main objections to it. The first one we can deal with. They say it is a document full of imported Western ideals written by Anglophile lawyers in the wrong language. So fair enough, that's a criticism, we can face that. But the second criticism is far more far-reaching. It says the Constitution of India is flawed because it rests on a flawed premise, a wrong definition of what is a nation. They say the Constitution assumes the nation is a territory called India and all the people living on it. Wrong, they say. The nation is not the territory of India. The nation is the people of India, and those people are only the Hindu people. And that's why they say there should be a constitution for a Hindu Rashtra. This is a fundamentally different vision from the vision of Ambedkar and Nehru and Patel and all those who wrote and sanctified the Constitution of India in 1950. The constitution that they would write would not build a nation through inclusiveness. It would build a nation through exclusion of all who are not Hindu. And they've said in their writings, in fact, it's very striking how open they are about their willingness to exclude significant minorities amongst our people. And it is because of this ideology that we are seeing the hatred that is being spread against certain minorities. We are seeing the ill treatment of Dalits. We are seeing violence against Muslims. Even the father of an Air Force Havildar was beaten to death outside his home for allegedly carrying beef in his bag. And after that, they broke down his house, and they broke his door, and they broke his fridge, and took out the meat there, and rushed to the police station. And the police of the UP, instead of arresting the mob for having killed a man, they arrested the meat, and they sent it off to a lab to find out whether it was beef or not. As it turned out, as you know, it wasn't. But does even the possession of illegal beef mean that you are immediately vulnerable to being murdered by a mob on the street? Is that what UP and India have come to? What about the young boys and girls who are going out together? Perhaps some of them are holding hands, who are being harassed by these so-called anti-Romeo squads unleashed by your government. Do they have no rights in this country? We are seeing, as I said earlier, the pressure to conform. Why are there attacks on women? Because women must know their place in this mentality. The mentality that has spread its view across the country today, instead of blaming the men for their attacks on women, says, why was she out late at night? Why was she wearing what she was wearing? Who told her to work so late? Why was she going to a movie with somebody else who's not her husband? These questions point to a mentality that is dangerous for this country and that must be resisted. The young people of this country, as Alim reminded us, want to be free, to think for themselves, to dress as they please, to see whom they wish to see, to love whom they wish to love, to marry or not to marry, to pray or not to pray. They want to be free, to be Indian, to enjoy the rights the Constitution of India gives them. Are we now going to decide that a ruling party has the right to, because it's won an election, to take on the entire power of the government to impose its view on those who don't agree? And then to identify their party with the government and the government with the nation? Is that now what our country has come to? I'm sorry, by that definition, I too am anti-national, and I say it with pride. Now, of course, they're busy rewriting textbooks, because if you cannot impose conformity on the present, you can impose it on the past. Whatever you don't like, you just change. I'm sorry to say, they can rewrite textbooks, they cannot re-engineer the soul of India. That soul celebrates coexistence and acceptance of difference. In fact, for those of us in public life and politics, we should be reminded of Ali Sikandar Jigar Muradabadi's famous couplet, "Unka jo farz hai, wo arbab-e-siyasat jane. Unka jo farz hai, wo arbab-o-siyasat jane. Apna paigam muhabbat hai, jahan tak pahunche." और मुहब्बत पहुंचाना हमारी जिम्मेदारी है. In fact, an AIPC member from Haryana, Vijay Dhillon, has written a share that he sent me. भूल धर्म और जात को जब सब गीत प्यार के गाएंगे, भूल धर्म और जात को जब सब गीत प्यार के गाएंगे, तब भारत प्रबल होगा, तब अच्छे दिन आएंगे. If the BJP has any sense of vision or a goal beyond that of reducing our country to a Hindu Pakistan, then they must realize that they carry the dreams of all Indians with them, that they would be a responsible government, and they've let us down for 4 years. Patel, Nehru, Ambedkar, all of them understood that when you're writing a constitution, it's for everybody, not only for those who voted for you, not only for those who share your ideology. If you are the government, you are responsible for all Indians. Sabka saath, sabka vikas. They should start taking their own rhetoric seriously. The mandate of any government is not to turn citizens of the nation into foot soldiers against enemies of its own invention. Governments have to uphold our constitution. Mr. Modi had actually said, this constitution is my only holy book. Well, it's time he lived up to it and got his followers to live up to it. The future of all Indians depends on all of us feeling an equal ownership in this country, in the constitution of this country, in the future of this country. Instead, what do we have? A government that has gone to parliament and conducted disruption through its friendly proxies. Who was standing in the well of the Lok Sabha and not permitting a no-confidence motion to be debated? Who was standing in the well of the Lok Sabha and not allowing a debate on the Rafale deal or on the Doklam crisis on the border? Who was standing in the well of the House and not allowing the government to be made accountable for its many failures? The friends of the government, a former NDA ally, and thereafter a government that survives entirely on the grace of the central government. अपनी ये सौगंध देश को तहस नहस नहीं होने देंगे हम. उनका ये प्रयास संसद में बहस नहीं होने देंगे. But it's going to be tough when the monsoon session comes up of Parliament in July. The point is that commitment to pluralism, acceptance, and the freedom provided by a democratic system is only part of the battle. Providing a decent standard of living to the people of India, and particularly those to the economically vulnerable, the marginalized, is the other commitment we must undertake. I won't go into that in so much depth because I think Salman has already laid that out for you. And the fact is that what we need together is a politics of inclusion that takes all of us forward. आओ इस रोशनी में सारे मसले हाल करें. आओ इस रोशनी में सारे मसले हाल करें. तुम भी जिम्मेदार हो और हम भी जिम्मेदार हैं. We absolutely have to take the responsibility, but at the same time we have to accept that those we have voted to power have an extra responsibility, have a special responsibility. दिल के बहलाने को गालिब ये ख्याल अच्छा है, but जिम्मेदारी is always more of the government. They have the mandate, and therefore they have the responsibility to provide answers to the nation. And as Ghalib, yet again, has observed, Bhuj जाते हैं दिए कभी तेल की कमी से भी, बुझ जाते हैं दिए कभी तेल की कमी से भी, हर बार कसूर हवा के झोंकों का नहीं होता. So they are blaming everything, international forces, opposition, matters beyond their control, fuel prices, they have their own responsibilities. कसूर किसी और का नहीं, आपकी सरकार के तेल की कमी के हैं. मोदी जी, गलतियां तो आपके हैं. इनफैक्ट मुजफ्फर आजमी ने हमें सिखाया था, ये जब्र भी देखा है तारीख के नजरों में. You all know this one. ये जब्र भी देखा है तारीख के नजरों ने, लम्हों ने खता की थी, सदियों ने सजा पाई. And that is what this government is doing to us and to all the sadiyon yet to come, the future generations of India. And when we speak of building a nation, we have to protect them. In these circumstances, professionals have a crucial role to play. Amita Singh has very nicely, clearly laid out for you the role of the All India Professionals Congress, its inspiration, what it seeks to do. We as AIPC fellows have to change the attitude of professionals who think कि मेरे होने या ना होने की क्या फर्क पड़ता है, इस देश में कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. You've heard all of these comments, right? I've heard people saying to me, intelligent, educated people, I am not interested in politics. I said, wow, you're not interested in politics? But sorry, politics is interested in you. That is the reality, because it is politics and politicians and elections that decide your future, that decide the opportunities you have, that lay out the prospects for you, that tell you how much taxes you must pay. When you go to the petrol pump and you're paying prices that the rest of the world has long since forgotten because world prices dropped, and you are still paying more, it's because your government is taxing you. 55% of what you're paying at the pump is going into the pockets of this government. They are putting their hand into your pocket and taking it, and you say you're not interested in politics? Politics is putting its hand into your pocket, my dear friend. That is what this tax is all about. What are your taxes spent for? That too, it is the government that elects you, that decides. What are the policies your government undertakes? How do they defend your borders or fail to? All of this is we have to make those so-called non-political professionals realize कि भाई फर्क पड़ता है. आपका होना बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है. अगर राजनीति अच्छी नहीं है तो हम अच्छी करने की कोशिश करते हैं भाई, और करनी चाहिए. बुद्धिजीवी लोग राजनीति में आने लगे हैं. आप देखे हुए हैं इस मंच पे प्रोफेशनल्स बैठे हैं. सलमान सोच तो वर्ल्ड बैंक में काफी अच्छा करियर था उनका. He could have carried on rising there. He chose to come back and be involved in our country. उनकी वाइफ भी प्रोफेशनल है, डॉक्टर है. प्रैक्टिस तो थी वहां, लेकिन सलमान ने कहा कि देश की भविष्य के लिए we professionals must be involved. तो मैं कहूंगा जिम्मेदारी समझने लगे हैं हमारे प्रोफेशनल्स, बदलाव लाने लगे हैं. हम भी कर सकते हैं और हम करेंगे. AIPC, All India Professionals Congress, is a platform, a मंच है, to discuss issues. Each chapter will decide what they want to discuss. There is no high command telling them what to discuss, what to think. You saw these 5 papers that were presented to me. What interesting work on everything from the Banaras silks to the chicken work of UP, healthcare crisis. All these papers will go into our system. They will be circulated where relevant. Obviously, Banaras silk, it may be enough to have the opinions only of UP, but maybe on healthcare, we need to get doctors from other AIPC chapters around the country to give us their comments. And there will be inputs into the policies of the Congress Party, into the manifestos of the Congress Party, and into the positions taken by the members of Parliament of the Congress Party. So this is something that we are planning to do through the kind of work being done by our chapters. It gives policy. What do professionals do? They go to work, they do a good job, they earn a good salary, they pay their taxes, and they come home in the evening and they complain about the politicians. No need to do that now. You can actually be heard by the politicians. You can join the All India Professionals Congress, speak to each other, to fellow professionals like yourself, formulate views on issues you judge to be important, and push them up to the political leaders of the Congress Party, and thereby to the attention of the nation. To the professional, it seems to me, India must remain an open society, in a rich and diverse and plural civilization, in one that is open to the contention of ideas and interests within it, that's unafraid of the prowess or the products of the outside world, that is wedded to the democratic pluralism that is India's greatest strength, and that's determined to liberate and fulfill the creative energies of its people, particularly of its professionals. We must do this with determination and passion. AIPC invites professionals, and of course today, especially in Uttar Pradesh, writers, poets, come and join us. Share your ideas, share your dissatisfaction, use your pen. I find that my pen reaches perhaps more people than any speech I can make would reach. Do not underestimate the power of the kalam, my dear friends. ये बेआवाज होती है, मगर ललकार होती है. ये बेआवाज होती है, मगर ललकार होती है. कलम को कम न अंको तुम, कलम तलवार होती है. And we must use it for the country. For our country, to build this nation, this inclusive nation we've been talking about, it will have to embrace an inclusive vision and draw its inspiration from the key tenets of the core idea of India I've described to you already. Only by maintaining a commitment towards a democratic and pluralistic ethos can any idea of a new India, newer India, newest India be able genuinely to fulfill the aspirations of all Indians. We need, in that sense, a new India built on the foundations of the old, but not this government's version. We need to build on the great, great achievements of the past, but have, of course, an inclusive vision for the future. And that vision, that comes from us, from all of us who have gathered here to discuss these issues. And I'll quote Ghalib for one last time. I love his verses. Nazar ko badlo to nazare badal jate hain. Soch ko badlo to sitare badal jate hain. Kashtiyan badalne ki zarurat nahi. Disha ko badlo to kinare badal jate hain. We must remain faithful to the founding values of our nationalist movement if we are going to rest on the achievements of the 20th century to build the future in the 21st century, build the future we seek for our country. This is the challenge before all of us, and it includes everyone. As Rahul Gandhi has said, I will never speak of a BJP Mukt Bharat because I want the people who have voted for the BJP also to come along in rebuilding this new India, this inclusive India. In fact, in the words of Makhdoom Moeddin, who was known as Shair-e-Inqilab, and I think he was also not far from here, he said, Hayat leke chalo, kainat leke chalo. Hayat leke chalo, kainat leke chalo, chalo to sare zamane ko saath leke chalo. हर तरफ समस्या ही समस्या है. सरकार सोच कर करने की बजाय करके सोच रही है और नतीजा आपके सामने है. कवि दुष्यंत ने ये लाइन शायद आज के दिन के लिए ही लिखी थी. हो गई है पीठ पर्वत से पिघलनी चाहिए, इस हिमालय से कोई गंगा निकलनी चाहिए, और मेरे सीने में नहीं तो तेरे सीने में सही, हो कहीं भी आग लेकिन आग जलनी चाहिए. सिर्फ हंगामा खड़ा करने मेरा मकसद नहीं, मेरी कोशिश है कि ये सूरत बदलनी चाहिए. Thank you for listening to me. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai APC.